I just want to say, first of all, thank you, God. Hopefully, you can hear the noise campaign outside. This is these perps being the clowns that they contracted to do, to be, right? Uh, and so, for me, at this point, the confidence and the validation that I have is magical. And perps, their job is simple. They are aiding this technology that I am a test subject to, as I'm being manipulated and rewired and changed and things manipulated in so many fashion. it's it's uh, it's their job. You heard the noise campaign to disorient me, to deflect and to gaslight me. And for me, it's over. I see this trash for what they are, and there's a lot of psyops. The psyop is supposed to make me think that they are just studying your brain and they're researching my brain and they figure me out in this way and this is not this technology that this DoD entities have been working on that can not only monitor your brain but alter your brain and manipulate your brain. That at this point is about manipulations, rewiring your thought process. It's about control over a human being, which is what this is all about. The rest is just a way to just present a false reality. I am feeling so thankful that I was able to capture this reality before I goes too far. Perps will have no shame to even bring up what they themselves create to try to vilify you. For example, they do these things where it's called forced speech, right? Or they kind of twist your words in different ways. I remember when they were trying to, because what they do is like they do this rewiring of thought process that's very pedophilia-centric, right? You hear the noise campaign is all supposed to be that using fear to try to make me accept of this. Now I am too validated. So this noise campaign to me, I hear as for what it is. They're trying to make me feel scared. It's Sylvan. It's bullshit. They know very well what this is about. They partake in the way of breaking down the target individual. I am so thankful. I gotta be so thankful that even in these circumstances where my brain is being ravaged in all different ways, I can never identify with this. And matter of fact, not only I don't identify with this, but I know how much of a threat they are to children. I know who's the pedophiles. So, like I said many times, they are rewiring my thought process in these pedophilia ways. And so it's nasty, 24/7. And listen to what they just brought up right now. And that's why you heard somebody scream like that. Hopefully you can hear. I'll open my window, so maybe you can hear them doing all this like noise campaign, like to disorient me. They have this way of like twisting what you're trying to say, right? It's supposed to frustrate you. This is called the forced speech. Other target individuals have talked about it. So I remember when I was saying, I like women. This is what and they try to, in my brain, twist it into saying the genitals, like I'm not gonna say vaginas, right? But in a sense of women. But they say that on purpose because they try to make me think, oh, like even children, private part. And you see how they would try to twist. It's like, oh no, you try to put it there like that, right? And they try to lock it in this way. It's like, oh, that's what you meant, right? And so you hear this noise campaign from this neighbor who's trying to break you down. It's like, make me accepting of these things. They sound like clowns, but they are paid to do that. They're paid to make you accepting of this. For me, I have no doubt. I know you can play with my words and try to change the meanings of what I'm trying to say. They do that systematically. I can bring up a testimonial from this woman called Mary Fair, right? She says that they twist the words around to frustrate her. And so that's what they did. And so that they bring up what they twisted around to change the meaning of what I was trying to say. And I don't even think it was actually said, but it was thought. That, those dialogues. And so you hear this man, grown man, yelling top of his voice to disorient me. I'm like, do your thing, my friend. Do your thing. And he's like calling me yo pedo. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. Let me just say how bad it is that when he called me pedo now, how I laugh at it. The awkwardness of it all is, as he tried to call me pedo, I can bring an article here saying, the Defense Department network ranked 19th out of 2,891 internet service provider for peer-to-peer trading of child porn in 2018, according to National Criminal Justice Training Center, suggesting the problem has gotten worse than worse in the 10 years since Project Flickr wrapped up. Okay? Now, this trash, he's calling me their pedo. Now, this trash are the people who want me to accept these manipulations. They even use the way they just twisted the words. It's not even said, it's like thoughts. You know, I'm trying to say, no, I love women, and they try to say, and somebody say, I'm not going to say P, you know, P-U-S-S-Y, right? You know, I don't, and I mean, I'm like, women, okay, maybe that's, you know, but I'm like, oh, no, you're saying that in that way so you can talk about little girls. Do you see how disgusting these trash are? These people are nasty. So nasty and pedophilia-centric. You wonder why things got worse over there. Because they have these tactics of breaking you down in these pedophilia ways. Now, when they do that to us target individuals, it's used as a tool to break you down. That's why they have these clowns over there supposed to disorient you. And I'm so glad that they do this while I'm recording, because it gives you a little bit of an idea of the type of games they play. Now, this pedophilia type of torture is not unique for me, right? For example, earlier, this child like perp, right? Who's like, no, this is our channel. It's a channel of this group of feminists protecting the community, and they are protecting our children, and we're different, right? They're doing basically what this man describes here. Ugh, so nasty. But what this man here describes.
B2K. So they'll say we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all these stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis, that people will believe something other than a massive government.
Right? And so when they do it, it's like, it's our channel. What we're doing, we're mapping. We're just figuring, we're researching who you are as an individual. We're not altering your mind in any ways. We just figured you out, and this and that. Clown. They do this pedophilia type of torture, and this is why they would switch the word in this way, so they can be like, oh, but everybody have genitals, so you like the genitals of even children. It's so nasty. They have no shame. They have no shame, and that's their job. That's why you hear some grown men singing in this way. They tell me how you're gonna be beat up, but I was like, I run through this. You think that's what's gonna make me acceptive of this manipulation? This is how you think I'm gonna accept it because of that? Just because you sold your soul to these pedophiles, you think I'm gonna let you live in escapism? No. Oh. You see how clown like you are? That you are here twisting the words, or not even actually say, but to say genitals, so you can include children, because everybody has genitals, or born with genitals. So you can be so little girls, you like little girls too, huh? The little girls. And have a human grown man with no self-respect that will start acting this way to disorient me. It's okay. I'm so thankful to God that I'm not him. Because the reality of things is this is what they do. And this is magical. To me, I will always be thankful that I was able to get this.
It's what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation, so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat.
So you hear this grown man over there making this loud noise to try to counter the reality of what they're part of. I know what he's doing. I understand the real purpose of his childlike.
It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pet. This disgusting thing. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting thing that I didn't want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care.
You heard this surrounding, for example, the man over there that you could hear somebody screaming, yelling, like somebody like that, right? And that's why they twist the, like you said, putting thoughts of pedophilia instead of like, me trying to say women and them saying vaginas or in the different fashion, because they want to include children. Do you understand how disgusting it is? And like, oh, you like, and they mean children. It's so nasty, but that's the life of this trash. For me, I'm so thankful that I'm able to look at this trash for the low life that they are. That I'm supposed to be frustrated. How can I be frustrated? You are here doing these things, this thought process, manipulated. I know it's obvious. You are here making me say vagina, making my thoughts to, or whatever, just to implant vagina instead of women in order to be inclusive of children. To be like, oh, you like that? Oh, our little girls. It's so disgusting. That's the life they live. But it's okay. For me, I'm like, I know you guys are low life pedos. How can I even feel guilty for the ways you just try to rewire things? For me, they tell me, though, you're going to be castrated. Like, listen, anybody who's going to castrate me, any participator, I know they know what this is about, and I see them as pedo. Matter of fact, I got to run to that. Do you think people who come up with these ways of trying to make somebody think in these ways, or even try to flip things around to just be pedophilia-centric when they wanted to, I can let this trash live their fantasy? I gotta run to the torture they're talking about, because it's part of how they want to lock themselves in this fantasy. Because in their mind, the way they try to make things happen is like, oh, because they're gonna chop you up. Then we'll prove there's not trash. What? Chop me up? We're dealing with 21st century technology that can attack the mind and the body. We'll talk about this.
To mention everything else that we've done. So the human body couples with external fields of all kinds. For radio frequency, you can look at the Radio Frequency Dosimetry Handbook, 1986, University of Utah, produced for the Air Force. It gives you the resonant frequencies for each vital organ, so that you can send in a radio signal that will couple with the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, and cause it to malfunction so that you can degrade the performance of your adversary. The new weapon systems being developed today will attack the mind, the body, and our physiology on an energetic level. Not with bullets and bombs. It's a perfect Republican weapon. No offense to Republicans here, but you don't want to destroy the property. You have to rebuild it afterwards. This is a weapon systems of the 21st century. It's the very beginning of it in a lot of ways, but the research goes back over 50 years.
You hear the 21st century weapon system is being applied on me. That attacks my mind, my body, and everything else, right? And so you hear this clown try to make me accepting of these ways of the way they just twisted things around my brain to be this pedophilia-centric, because obviously today what's happening is they're altering my mind to have these reactions that I will not experience naturally. They're doing this, utilizing this technology that's, they've been working on for more than 50 years. For example, this technology.
In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day. Human mind can be altered. In 1965,
as they were putting thoughts in my head to just to disturb me. It's that kind of like manipulation that we experience as target individual. It's meant to degrade you. It's the degrading thought process that's disgusting. And then you have these perps via voice to skull, V2K, that pipes in their voices and like, no, Matt, they still use it. And you have some clown ass, just like the man you hear singing over there, but a voice to skull version of it. Somebody interacting with you, a loser of some sort. that is supposed to make me accepting of it. And they get frustrated in the sense that I'm not identifying with it. So the rage they tell me I'm going to experience is the rage of people that have been humiliating every day, as they want me to look at them as this researcher that not doing this pedophilia type of torture. It's their channels. This is different than what you hear when they do the pedophilia type of torture. With you, with math, there's you when you're a kid or some nastiness. Well, instead of this.
Citizens being controlled by government-sanctioned experiments? Is Cheryl Welch telling the truth, or are her claims absurd? Just another conspiracy theory that's impossible to prove? Maybe. But not if you listen to Nick Bettich.
I think there's some good evidence that Cheryl Welch and many of the other people I've spoken with have been victimized by this electromagnetic mind control experiments. The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is a greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder.
Bettich is an expert in government mind control. He is convinced the Pentagon has mastered a technology once thought to be science fiction. The ability to broadcast information directly into the human brain.
Our government began spending a lot of time looking at how to modify behaviors of human beings. Going back to the Korean War, in fact, in a publication, Low Intensity Conflict in Modern Technology, they have a chapter on electromagnetic weapon systems, being able to not just debilitate someone, but actually even to stimulate certain activities within the brain.
But how?
HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, which started as a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy. This is a very large array or field of antennas based on Alaska radio frequency antennas.
HARP antennas transmit powerful radio signals into the upper atmosphere to study the effects on wireless communications. But Bettich says HARP can also be used for more sinister ends.
HARP has announced several other programs and campaigns, and there's two areas that I got very concerned about. One was weather modification applications. The other was the effect on human beings. If you can modulate a signal that the brain locks onto, recognizes, and begins to mirror or follow the frequency following response, the brain rhythms change, then it creates a chemical cascade within the brain and the emotions change. Now the resolution gets finer and finer and finer. And it used to just be about triggering emotions. You could change people's brain chemistry pretty readily, change their emotional state pretty easily. But when you get down to the idea of thoughts, being able to manipulate those, that requires a different kind of sophistication.
So, as I was, listening to that, as it's clear that the government has been working on technology, as you can clearly hear, since the 60s, even before perhaps, to alter the mind. And today, at this point, the sophistication is just surreal. So, as I'm listening to this, they're trying to find ways, because this perps, what they do is they try to gaslight you, or they are gaslighting you to deflect, because it's clear that your brain at this point can be altered. They've been working on this technology for so long that the sophistication is surreal, and I know because I'm experiencing that. So as they try to make me accepting of these pedophilia things they do to people, right? They're just trying to find ways to make me accepting, but even bringing things they twisted themselves. Can you imagine try to make me think, oh, but you love, I don't want to be graphic, but, women and their private part because you're straight men, right? They said that on purpose because the private part portion is something they want you to now connect with children. They say, oh, you see, like, I'm like, wait, oh, that's why you're saying that like that, so you can twist it to like children? And this trash have no shame. And right now, purpose like, oh, you see? Nasty low life. But it's okay. Let them live this low lifeness. I'm just thankful to God that it was not me. Because this is how they twist the mind. And it's so nasty. It's so foul that a grown man and a grown woman who act this way, I'm like, you're such a clown trash. But it's okay. You sold your soul to pedophiles. And you know what I mean. But before I get to that point, this is how the thought process becomes.
Can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains. And so this gets into what's called offensive information warfare. And they used it, I believe, in the see if they can manipulate people to do things that are irrational, but also walk them to their death. And so you can call it a eugenics program. And they need to sample all cultures, language throughout the world to define the probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control the brain? Most people won't.
It's all about that. And the tricks and the deceptions, this is the nasty things I just said. To twist the things like that, so they'll be like, oh, you like vaginas. But they try to bring it, oh, little girls. So they try to twist it to that. That's what they were starting off with. It's so disgusting. So foul. And then they come and tell me I'm going to have no arms or no genitals. Like, I'd rather lose all of that than do what you do. Nasty, low life. And they are being groomed at this point. You know, the people partaking this are not very old. So they're already like in a state of mind that this is okay. They're trash being groomed by pedophiles at this point. And pedophilia is a world they're really very much involved in. And really pushing it into people's brain. Trash like that. And then they come in like, no, we mind it. And the thought process are just so weird. Why? The reason why they say, oh, you're going to lose your hands is because they also talk about me as a child in middle school. And try to exaggerate what I did as a child. That's what they keep saying, oh, you used her hand. No, I did not. Because when I was in middle school, I did something to myself, which I completely forgot about. But this is people who are literally twisting words in that way so they can connect that with children. So you understand, they're going to hold on to whatever they can to try to make you accepting of these things. It is so nasty. Well, this trash actually work for pedophiles. And the program they're in, they torture children, but not even that. To know that these people, and the thing I read earlier on, this is what I was saying.
Online protective services. The Defense Department network consistently ranks in the top tier of internet service providers for trafficking child pornography.
They come in a world where child pornography is rampant, and they have this issue of pedophilia is such a big issue and so disgusting to know that this is how open they are and just free to do these things using computer department defense computers and network. Can you imagine? To be ranked at such a high level. It's that disgusting. But it gives you an idea that, okay, in this program where they're using this technology as a weapon system, right? Where the mind is being attacked in these disgusting ways, right? To find out that, okay, this is bad, but also to find out that the people who come up with these tactics and coming up with this technology have this issue of pedophilia. I don't know if it's a coincidence, I don't know, but it's just something worth acknowledging. That there's a lot of pedophiles agencies. In this program, there's a lot of tactics that are pedophilia-centric. And they're out here twisting things around, and that's why they try to hold on to me as a kid. To try to make me accepting of these pedophilia things that they do to so many others, but you hear these people complaining about it. And using this trash that you see, children, or childlike people whose brain is already nothingness, so they're going to grow up in more nothingness to try to make you accepting of that. This is our channel, we're using our money. This is not this program that's been developing this technology that can alter the mind in so many ways, in these ways like this. So disgusting. I'm sorry. What's happening in my brain is like they're having these disgusting dialogues that disturbs me, and that's because this is happening in real time with me.
Designed to interact with the human nervous system in order to remotely pick up on someone's neural network or EEG, and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions or bodily functions for that matter. The other more recent term we have for that is EEG heterodyning or EEG cloning. The difference between EEG heterodyning and EEG cloning would be, let's say, me remotely receiving your EEG and then duplicating it and putting that in another person to give them your same thoughts or feelings or physical reactions. EEG heterodyning would be receiving your EEG, manipulating it to put it back inside your head to give us a desired physical reaction or emotional reaction.
Clearly showing that they can alter my mind and alter me to have a reaction that they want me to have, and thought process can be manipulated. And so you hear this perps living this fucking trashiness of a fantasy